What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome back to another episode of The Assist. I am your host, Dylan. The Assist, we desire to cover the New Orleans Pelicans and occasionally the Baton Rouge Zydeco, because you know your boy likes to diversify his sports palette from time to time. But today, we're going to keep it strictly Pels talk. Theodore, how you feeling, brother? You living? You blessed? I see you sitting on Zion's jersey. You ready for the season is what you telling me, right? I think he's ready, and I'm ready too. The New Orleans Pelicans are about to begin the 2024-2025 campaign, and we brought in one of the greatest human beings on earth to talk about it. Now, I'm not going to bring her up yet, because when you know, you know. If you know New Orleans Pelicans basketball and you don't know this person, you need to get familiar because she is the one. As they would say, she is her. But the assist is brought to you by the No Network, where we desire to bring you closer to all sports happening within the Gulf Coast. If you're an LSU Tiger fan, come on, Tiger, hold that Tiger. Like your boy, you're rocking with the best. Whatever it looks like, you're at the best spot and the best place to be. So thank you for jumping in with us. Our host today is none other than me, but the person who should be hosting this probably should be my guest today. She is none other than basketball content creator, because she's got 3,000 jobs. My girl, Rail Myers. What's up, girl?
What's happening, man? I had to take some time away from my 3,000 jobs, as you said, so I can come on the assist. But it's good to see you. Shout out to you. Shout out to Theodore.
Oh, man. First off, before we say anything about the Pels or anything, I want to give you your flowers, because a lot of people know that I've been blessed to be in this content creating space for a little while now, and I've been blessed to do a lot of things, but you are the sensei of this for me. I would not be creating any of these things. I would not have the confidence to do it. I would not have the platform to do it if it wasn't first for you, girl. So thank you so much for believing in people like me and giving people like me a chance to even talk to someone like you. So thank you so much for everything you do for the Pels community from a content creator standpoint. We are nothing without you, girl. I mean that.
Hey, man, I just try to put people in positions the same way I want people to put me in positions, right? So, I mean, I'm just doing for other people what Chris Conner did for me, basically, so just got to pay it forward. I appreciate you, though.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, we gonna talk Pels talk, but this the assist. I'm not. The reason I started the assist is because I wanted to do my own stuff, and sometimes I like to pop off. To whom it may concern, don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. There's this such thing as talent, and when you have talent, you don't think. You just put them in position and let them. Could you imagine the Cavaliers drafting LeBron and saying, all right, LeBron, we're going to bring you in and we want you to take this shot over and over again. Don't do anything else. Just do that. You can't do that? Oh, we don't want you. The Cavaliers will look like a goofy. Could you imagine? So on, so on. I'm telling you, don't overthink this. Rail Myers is the one. There's no time for debate. You go, she doesn't fit. I don't break the box. I don't care what the box. If she don't fit it, you need to throw it out the river. Throw it out.
She's her. She's her.
She'll be floating down Mississippi tomorrow. Literally, her, the one. I mean, she's got questionable taste in WNBA teams. We're gonna talk about that in a second, because we know it's we know what the series looking like next, my girl. It's my Liberty versus your Aces. You know what time we on. My girl Sabrina, the originator, going crazy. And we won't smoke with the MVP. We won't smoke this time around. But anyway,
you didn't want to smoke last time?
So our check-ins didn't hit our savings yet, and we weren't ready. And so we had to. It was a 3-day delay, and by the time the 3 days happened, it was over already. And so,
hey, what's delayed is not denied, my friend. Go ahead. I'll see you Aces in 4. But anyhow, carry on with what you were saying.
As I said, this is gonna be a fun episode. As I said before, don't overthink it. This is the one that you need to have on your show. Okay. So we're going to jump into the conversation. You don't do a lot of podcasts because this is not really a thing. So I'm gonna ask the questions that the people want to hear from you, but don't have the opportunity to hear from you because they don't have G14 classified access like Shaq said, like your boy do. So when you're looking at the 24-25 New Orleans Pelicans, what is the one thing in your mind that you're thinking, this makes me nervous about them? What is the one piece of the cog that you're like, man, I don't know, man, this part make me nervous?
The center rotation. It's got to be the center rotation, man. I mean, let's see. I don't even know if I can count Trey Jemison. We got him back. I guess he's on a 2A. And then you have Ease Missy, who's a rookie. You have Carlo Makovich, who's a rookie. So that's two. That's two. Let's say that's 3 7-footers, right? I don't know if they're all 7 foot. I don't know if they're 6'11". Let's say there's 3 7-footers who are all between the three of them, they have a half a year of experience, right? Because Trey Jemison wasn't playing in the whole season. But then you have Daniel Tice, who has 7 years of experience, who is approximately 6'8". Now you're back at Larry Nance, is what's happening. You're back at Larry Nance, except now, if you were to start him, you have a 6'8" center starting. And a lot of people want Zion starting at center, and to that I say, please, let's not. So the center rotation is my biggest question mark for this team this season. I don't know, obviously I don't know what the team's going to look like at the trade deadline, but that's worrisome.
See, that's a little unique for you though, because you started Carlo Mania. Like
Hey,
that's
man.
like you're like the chairperson of that whole situation.
Hey,
So
Carlo Crazies. Hashtag
with
Carlo
that,
Crazies.
what do you are you? I mean, there's reports. Exactly. So there's something that came out that said that he had a great camp, or he's been having great workouts. Does
Mhm.
that make you feel more at ease about it, or is it just like he's just not as experienced as you like a center in playoff rotation look like for you?
Yeah, it's just camp. It's not really telling me anything. Once you throw him out there against actual pros, and up to this point, he hasn't really played against the pros. The G League is the G League. Summer League is glorified college games. It's basically the G League. So he has not really played against or practiced against the biggest guys that he's really going to be seeing on the other end of the floor come regular season time. You know what I mean? And obviously, like, there's going to be guys who can't hold their own against Joel Embiid, who can't hold their own against Nikola Jokic, which is absolutely understandable. But at the end of the day, he's still a rookie, and we don't need to be depending on a rookie center to try to lead us to the promised land.
I agree. Let me play devil's advocate for lack of better verbiage.
Okay.
So would you be having a high expectation on Carlo, or would you view him kind of the same way that Dallas used Derek Lively? Because Derek Lively was a rookie last year, and he came in, played his role, and they succeeded. Obviously,
Yeah.
they didn't start Derek, but Derek played starter minutes. Could you get away with that ideal?
Again, as the leader of the Carlo Crazies, shout out to Carlo, but they are not the same. Carlo is not Derek Lively. And does Carlo have someone who's going to feed him the way Derek Lively had somebody feeding him? I don't know. We got to see, what he looks like out there. Is he going to be getting minutes with the starting? Like, is he going to be getting minutes with DeJounte? We don't know. Is he going to be getting minutes with Jose Alvarado? Probably. Jose will feed him. He's a true point guard, right? It would help to have a point guard like that. But if, let's say, if we didn't have DeJounte and we had to rely on CJ to feed Carlo, it wouldn't work out. So for Carlo, my expectations are not very high at all. I want him to show up, do what's asked of him, and hopefully he will look good. But we just can't put all our eggs in the basket of 2 or 3 rookie centers. It's not a good look.
I respect it. I respect it. Now, moving forward, though, I see from my 2 cents, I feel like you could. You said you do not want to see the Zion Williamson situation at all. My pup is in here too. Gigi, I tried to let you be a guest on the show, and you can't be on your best behavior. You evicted. I'm about to put you out. Get it together. Get it together. Gigi, look, she's walking up now. She wants to be on the show. You can't. You know what? This is the assist. This is a family network. We got Gigi in the show. You see that? Gigi, say what's up to 4K Rail.
GG with the
4K
assist.
Rail's got some dogs of her own too.
Oh, don't get me started.
Hey!
Don't get me started.
I'm keeping that. I'm keeping that. We're gonna cut that. That's a cut moment. That's a cut. That's a cut right
Oh,
there. I'm keeping it. But back to what I was saying. Sorry. So when you look at the team and you talked about Carlo being a young guy and you don't want to see Zion play starting 5 minutes,
it's tough. I know it's tough. We are in a
defend
dilly
that
of a
thought.
pickle.
That's all I gotta say. Defend that thought.
We're in a dilly of a pickle with this center situation, man. But no, Zion can't play. He can play small ball five, sure, but that's not a starting lineup thing. You don't go small ball with the starting lineup. So in that case, what do? And we had to let JV walk for absolutely the price of zero because I don't know, we just thought we would lose a trade if we tried to trade him. I don't know what the thought process was behind that, but JB might have been slow, but he was big and he could hold his own. And you know who's gonna deal with Sabonis now? Zion. Jeremiah Robinson Earl, by the way, who only gets minutes at the five. Like, come on, like, what are we doing? And he's also like 6'8". Like, I don't know what the plan is, and I'm terrified. I don't know if they could win 49 games again. And if they do win 49 games again, is it gonna be 5, 6, 7 teams ahead of them again? Like, what's gonna happen? I'm scared. I'm
Ooh,
terrified.
hot take. Hot take. We don't know if we gonna get the
I'm
49 again.
terrified.
Ooh, so
Hmm.
now you talked about the thing that makes you most nervous. Now talk to me about the thing that you're like, this right here gives me excitement. Like when I see this, I think we 50 plus.
Let me tell you something. Back in the day when we had a young man by the name of Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram was attempting on average 6 3-point attempts per game. Since the Lonzo Ball era ended in New Orleans, he has averaged a little bit over 3 attempts per game. I think that having DeJounte Murray out there with Brandon Ingram is going to open up things where Brandon Ingram is going to be much more comfortable shooting 3 pointers, just catch and shoot. And I'm not saying that they need to turn him into stick him in the corner, catch and shoot 3 point guy. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I think he'll be a lot more comfortable with doing that, and I think that that will in turn elevate the team a lot, having those two guys out there together and having BI play next to a proper point guard instead of CJ, who was forced to play point guard. It's like the Drew Holiday thing, man. When
Right,
Drew
right,
Holiday was
right,
here, he was
right.
like, I need a point guard. When
Yep.
Anthony Davis was here, he was like, I need a center. Like, let's put these guys in their like actual positions and let them thrive. So I think that is the thing that excites me most is having DeJounte out there with BI. And I don't know if CJ is still going to be in starting lineup, whatever. I don't know, but I think
Don't
that's the main thing.
time out. Don't jump. Don't jump. That's a question. Don't jump. Don't jump. Don't jump. Don't jump. Let's get back to the Brandon Ingram point. You talked about how his output could increase with having DeJounte Murray on the team. But let's go back to the mental aspect of Brandon Ingram. You've given everything you have to this organization. You've been there when the number one hasn't been there. And it's
Mhm.
contract time, and they say, we love you, but we choose us. How you talked about him being a net positive with the addition of DeJounte Murray, but do you think there could be a issue, or to use larger words, a conundrum on the horizon for the Pelicans with Brandon Ingram's contract situation in the back of his head, or you think he's going to just show up to camp ready to work?
I think he'll still show up to camp ready to work. I don't. I want to say before Bi actually suited up and played in New Orleans, I was concerned about him coming here, but that's just because I didn't know much about his mannerisms and how
Yeah.
he always looked the way he looked. You know what I mean? And
Right.
it's not
Yeah.
necessarily a sign that he's unhappy or anything like that. So before he came here, I was like, if anybody's gonna have a problem, it's gonna be Bi. And I was
Facts.
completely wrong. I was completely wrong about it. And so I still think that when he got traded here and he didn't look super thrilled, that didn't mean that he didn't want to be here. And I think that even now, it doesn't mean that he doesn't want to be here just because like they might be at like a standstill with the contract situation. I don't think he's going to be a problem in camp. I don't think he's going to be a problem, when the regular season starts. I think he's going to show up. He's going to be the guy that he has been for this team. And I think the people in that locker room, they honestly love him. So
Yeah.
he's like, it's not like he's in this toxic situation with like his teammates and maybe even the coaching staff, right? So
Yep.
I think it'll be fine. It's he's gonna show up and he's gonna get to work like he normally does. It's just, are the shots gonna fall? Most likely. I hope they
Mm.
do. And are we gonna be able to just like play like adults and close games out without blowing double digit leads?
Preach. She preaching. But that is why you brought in the Dejounte Murray.
Yeah.
Because CJ McCollum, aka the fourth quarter merchant, goes diabolical mode in the fourth every time. So
Yeah.
you brought in DeJounte to alleviate that pressure from CJ and whoever else you want to be. So I want to talk even further about this Brandon Ingram situation because if anybody who's been following the Pelicans for any amount of time, we know that this is honestly the most outside of Zion's slim fit post he's been posting that's got the world going crazy, not just Pale's verse, but the
Yeah.
world going crazy. Brandon Ingram is the number one cog. We saw Mark Spears talk about it. Saw everyone. So how are you so sure that he's going to show up pre- prepared mentally to work with? I mean, the guy's been Instagram posting. If you're
Mm-hmm.
not, this is not a guy who frequents social media unless it's talking about his clothing company or Jose or
Yeah.
Najee. So when you see a guy who's normally out of sight, out of mind, making himself the front row, does that not make you feel a little bit like, this out of character?
I think that, yeah, we really haven't seen him post a lot on social media unless he's like, sending subliminal messages, things like that. Like, let's say during the playoffs when he posted like, the Shaq and Kobe thing when they were
Yeah.
playing against Phoenix, like you really don't see him say too much on there unless he's like taking a shot, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But it's still like subtle stuff, right? But he's never given me any reason to think that he's gonna show up and not perform. It
Mm.
doesn't benefit him to show up and not perform. It doesn't benefit him to try to pull a James Harden and be like, I'm not gonna suit up for this guy or this organization, ever again. I'm waiting for them to trade. Like I don't see Bi as doing that kind of thing. If he did, that would look terrible. But there's no, I don't see it happen. I don't see it happen. If it did happen, we'll have to circle back and talk to that. But I really don't think that he would do that. I don't, and again, I don't know him. I don't
Right. Right.
personally
Right.
know him, but he's never given me any reason to believe that he would um make himself look that way. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if stuff ain't going your way, it don't mean you gotta, throw a tantrum and be like, oh, they're not giving me what I want. Well, then I'm
Yeah.
not coming. No, go out there because you're really auditioning for for your next team. If you're leaving, you're auditioning for your next contract, whether you're staying or going. Like you got to show people, like, hey, I'm gonna come out here and show you this what you're missing, basically. Like this what you're missing by not paying me. This what you're missing by not trading for me. Whatever have you. You got to go out there and perform. So I'm not so worried about that. I'm still more worried about the centers. That's the big thing.
That makes me happy because I know you well enough to know you know who. So the fact that you've been around the organization from a distant but close perspective for a long time. So you've gotten engaged with these guys and you know their mental makeup more than we would. That's what makes you the oracle of this situation. And so with that, is there a player on the team that you think is going to make a monumental leap this next year? And why is it Jordan Hawkins?
I just saw a tweet of somebody trying to trade that man right before I got on here. And I'm like, what are we doing?
Man,
But
listen, I'm gonna start naming people in a second. You see me with my pen. I'm
oh
about to start naming
geez.
people in a second. Stop playing.
I
Anyway, go
think
ahead, Rail.
sometimes players are in their own way and sometimes coaches are in the way of the player. And with Jordan Hawkins, your face.
Preach.
With Jordan Hawkins, he's not in his way. And I think we've all seen that. Um, I really want to say that I think the guy that'll take the leap is going to be Trey, but we
Mm,
all thought that last year.
yeah,
But I don't think that's necessarily like oh, we thought this and he didn't do it sort of thing. Like he got hurt.
yeah,
He got hurt for the first time in his like career,
crazy.
like whether it be high school, college, the pros, whatever. It's first time he had to have surgery on anything ever. And so then you play a little bit cautious of that. It's
Yeah,
always in the back of your mind because you're like, look, man, like I hurt myself and it was not like a no contact injury. I don't want this to happen again. So I'm gonna do my thing, but at the same time, I'm a little nervous. That was the vibe that I got watching him play this past season. So hopefully, coming into this next season, year 4, Trey Murphy will be like just absolute monstrosity. Now, there are people, I will acknowledge that people exist that think that BI has to get out of Trey's way.
Ooh.
I don't know that I necessarily agree with that because I'm a firm believer in having people that can come off the bench and produce for you. You can't put everybody in the starting lineup. We can't have 7 starters, we can't have 8 starters. Like you got to have somebody coming off the bench giving you something, which is why Jose Alvarado is so valuable off the bench. However, I know I'm going on a tangent, but I'm gonna wrap this point up. Our starting lineup needs to give us something. You can't keep relying on your starters. I mean, you can't keep relying on a 5'10" and 3/4 inch tall Jose Alvarado to come off the bench and give you a spark. Why are your starters not giving you a spark? You want $50 million a year? Why don't you come out here and give a spark from tip? Like that's what I'm looking for. Like I'm not trying to be up and there with them slow starts because you get in a hole, you down 20, and guess who's not coming back to win the game? It's you, Pelicans. You're not gonna win. So like come out there and play with some intensity, man. It's insane. Y'all are adults. Y'all are making millions and billions of dollars.
You are an adult.
You
Show up to work.
You grown. Somebody on the bench shouldn't have to motivate you to go out there and get yours. I mean, and you know what? This is so crazy. This is just like popped into my mind just now. I almost want players to go out there and try to flex for the gram. You know, Jackson Hayes, he gonna get his dunk. He gonna get his highlight. Y'all need to play like y'all want to be
30,000 times after the game.
Y'all need to play like y'all want to be seen, man. They just be out there, go through the motions. No, I'm over it. I'm done. I'm fed up. Go out there, play some ball, put on the show because also they putting y'all on Fox 8 and Great TV and putting y'all in front of all these people. And you know how to be acting when they got company watching. So they need to get over that. They need to get over that because you're going to be in front of a lot more people. And if you want people to support, now's your chance because they're going to be watching. And they're not going to watch if you be losing.
Facts. So, and you just brought up a great point. You brought up the Gray Media agreement. For everybody that doesn't know, the New Orleans Pelicans just reached an agreement with Gray Media to bring the Pelicans to 7 million plus people accordingly. Everybody in Lafayette, chill. It's on the way for y'all. They're already working towards it. I don't know if you remember like the 90s and early 2000s in Louisiana. We didn't have really like a team until the Hornets Pelicans came. You remember when WGN used to be on TV all the time? Like you got that network and the Bulls were always on.
Yeah. I used to watch baseball like that too because they had baseball on those channels and stuff.
Yeah, the Braves were on TBS. Yes. Yep, 100%. And I say all that to say, I'm going to go on a little soliloquy for a second because this is major. Shout out to you, Mrs. B, for making this move because I know you could have went and got more money from other people. Sure, you have Zion Williamson on your team who, for better or worse, is box office. People want that. But you decided to give the next generation of Hooper, what me and Rail had with the Bulls and the Braves, you desired and decided to give them an opportunity to cheer for a team that's in their backyard and to fall in love with the game like we do the Saints. That's been my gripe for years is that we don't have that level of access like we do with the Saints, with the Pels. And so shout out to you for doing that. That's amazing. And like Rail said, hey, bro, y'all better not stunt in front of the Garden situations. I'm going to leave it there.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. You know what? And again, yes, shout out to Ms. B, but also I do have a gripe because look, we got one single home preseason game every year. Sometimes we don't even have that. One single home preseason game. You got the game at 12:30 because the Saints play that night on the road. What crazy. Do that have to do with me? That don't have nothing to do with me. So as a season ticket holder, I got one chance to see these boys before the game start counting, and I can't go because I got a job. 300 of them, as you mentioned. So how, like, that's so insane to me because you got all these these organizations put together, and all these people that work for the Saints is working for the Pelicans. So great, let's have the Pelicans play at 12:30 in the middle of the day on a random Monday. That's not a holiday, so nobody could go. And that way, the people who work for both teams could just hop on a flight and go to Kansas City so they can catch the Saints in Arrowhead or whatever it's called. That's
crazy. That
is insane to me. Let the basketball operations people who just work for the Pelicans go do the Pelican stuff. That it's like they took some steps forward, putting everybody on TV, and you take a step back because who's gonna be at that game, bro? Who? No. Not me. I'm not using PTO for that. I thought about it because I'm a
Hey, this
psycho.
is the moment that you're gonna get to use Fox 8.
I thought about it. I thought about taking PTO because I got it, and I'm just crazy with the Pelicans. But no, so now I'm gonna miss the first home game that I've missed in over 2 years because
Wow.
y'all let this happen with this scheduling, man. And it's not like this, it's not like the organization schedule their own games or anything like that. But still,
You
this
could
is
have
the fault
flexed
of the
it or
Saints.
something.
This is the fault of the Saints, man. I'm mad. I'm
So
mad.
let's talk about that a little bit, and then I'm gonna let you go because you blessed me with a certain time slot. I know you're busy.
Yes,
Let's
sir. I
talk
got
about
like
that for
10.
a second. How do you think? So, full disclosure, the Saints have decades on the Pelicans. By the
Yeah.
way, I got a little Tom Petty in me. I don't remember your friend name in that certain spaces that was talking crazy about the Pelicans not going into tax in the last 20 years.
Sean.
Bro, we've been a organization in New Orleans for 23.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, what do you think, or 21, 21, 23, one of the two.
Math's not my strong suit. I'm gonna say 22. I'll go in the middle.
Smart. What do you think outside of a championship? Because the Saints weren't winning for years, so
Yeah.
it's more than a championship. What
Yeah.
do you think the Pelicans can do to finally take a hold of New Orleans and the Gulf Coast as we are your basketball team? Like you, how you supported LSU women's basketball when they're winning. And
Yeah.
honestly, since Kim Mulkey showed up, you can do that for us year round.
Yeah.
What do you think makes that happen?
I think being on TV that helps because the everybody from Lake Charles all the way into the Florida Panhandle will have access to be able to watch this team,
Crazy.
even into a little bit of Southern Arkansas and even a little bit of Southern Oklahoma, like
That's
all the
crazy.
way, yeah, all the way up there. So obviously a little bit of Texas will be in that too. But putting them on TV, a huge thing. But now you have to put a winning product on the court, and they have to perform. You got to get out there in front of all these extra eyes. Like again, we mentioned they be afraid. So they play like they're afraid when they got more eyes on them.
Facts.
You have to win when you have these people's attention because if you don't, you're just the same team that you've been for 21, 2, 3 years, and people are not going to be interested. There's way too many things that people could be doing with their time, especially here locally in the city. There's way too
Facts.
many other things you could be doing than spending your money to go sit up in there and watch them have a third quarter where they score like 9 points. Nobody is trying to deal
You
with
just
that.
evoking all my traumas.
Nobody.
Just
This I'm saying, like we're willing to put up with this, and more diehard fans are willing to put up with these things. But casual basketball is a very casual sport. It's far more casual than football would be. So you have to give people a reason to pay attention. You have to the players individually have to stay healthy. There's
facts.
people. Shout out to my guy Everett. He doesn't live in New Orleans. He lives in
Washington.
Seattle. Yeah, he lives in Seattle. He goes to Portland every time the Pelicans play there. He has never seen Zion Williamson play, and we got to go to Portland twice a year. So last year, Zion played in Portland, and unfortunately, for whatever reason, Everett wasn't able to make that game. But think of it for people who live here, people who buy tickets. And we hear about this a lot for like, oh, Steph Curry sitting out because it's the back to back. What about the kids? Steph hasn't played in New Orleans in like 5 years, whatever. Okay, but what about the home players? There's
Right.
kids here who probably
Right.
still ain't seen Zion play. You know what I
Right.
mean? So
Right.
it's you gotta field a healthy team. You gotta field a productive team, a competitive team, and they just have to perform, and then people will be on board with that, and it'll be like Pelicans mania here. But like, if people say y'all don't support the team, people will support winning basketball. But if the team ain't winning, people are not interested. It's just that simple.
Facts. And that's real. That's the best way to end it. I'm gonna let you end with, and I'm gonna move out of the way if I can learn. No, I'm not gonna
Okay.
try it. This has been too
Yeah, just leave it.
fugazi. I'm not. She said.
I was in
She
agreement, and
said.
then I was like, you know what? Never mind.
Yeah, leave it. Leave it. Leave it. Just leave it. So, oh, you know what? I just figured it out. I got
What's
it.
up?
So I'm gonna let you have center stage,
Okay.
and I need you to give me two things. One, what's the end record and end of the Pelican season look like? I mean, that means 48 and whatever with a second round out. And then, second thing is, I need your hot take for the year. Think on it. I'm going to give you the
Ooh.
stage.
Man, the record and a hot take. So since they've had Willie Green, the Pelicans have increased their wins every single year, whether it be 3, whether it be 5, whether it be 6, 7 wins. They've increased their wins every year since Willie Green has been the coach. I don't see a reason to believe that that won't happen again. But what that means is they will have to win 50 or more games this season. Will they be able to do that? I don't know, because now you have an issue in your division where Klay Thompson is now in your division alongside Luka Doncic. Oh, guess what? Wemby has Chris Paul. I hate it here. So, John Morant is back for the Grizzlies. Like this division absolutely sucks, and I don't even know what Houston's doing. I don't know what they got going on, but Alperen Sengun be giving us hell, and we don't even have Jonas Valanciunas to combat him anymore. So they have to win 50 games. So I'm going to predict that they will win 50 or more games, 50 and 32 or better. And then I guess my other one was a hot take. I think they'll win 50 games and they still won't have home court advantage. But at least if they win 50 games and they get like, 5th seed, 6th seed, something like that, it'll still be an improvement on previous years, because although every year we've increased our wins, every single year we've been in the play-in tournament. So we need to leave that behind. 2024-2025 season is a new leaf we turning over. I need the Pelicans to be better. The Pelicans need to be better for themselves and for Gail and for whoever else. Because if not, somebody got to go. Jobs got to be at risk, man. That is all I got.
That was fire. That was fire. 4K, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to hang out with us at The Assist. We appreciate you, girl. She's got content everywhere. You want to tell them where they can get your content?
Yeah, I mean, my handles on everything is at Relmyers, RELMYERS. You can also go to relmyers.com for my website. I'm trying to line some things up that'll have me doing much more basketball outside of just the NBA. So hopefully that'll come to some sort of fruition. But once the season gets started back up, I got the Pels and Whistles podcast. I'll be talking about them. But lately I ain't been saying nothing because they make me mad. So until they do something to make me happy, I'm staying quiet about it. That's it.
I love it. We appreciate you, girl. We love you. Thank y'all so much for dropping into The Assist, where we are bringing you closer to everything within the Pels organization, where if you don't know, now you know.